Let's get right into it. Number 15. Phantom phone vibrations. You know that moment when you swear your phone just buzzed? But nope, it's as still as a yoga instructor mid-meditation. Welcome to the wonderful glitch where your nervous system decides to cosplay as an unreliable notification service. Here's the science why bit. Your brain, in its infinite wisdom, hates unpredictability. It loves patterns. If you've felt your phone vibrate in your pocket 10,000 times before, your brain gets really good at predicting it, to the point that it just makes them up. The same sensory pathways that react to actual vibrations can misfire, turning random muscle twitches, clothing shifts, or even just nothing at all into the sensation of a buzz. It's basically the placebo effect, but for your thigh. Evolution didn't plan for you to walk around with a tiny anxiety rectangle in your pants, so your body interprets any subtle sensory change as a message. Quick! It's important. Spoiler, it's usually not important. It's your aunt sending a 3-minute voice note about soup. The kicker? This isn't even rare. Studies show up to 90% of phone users get these phantom vibrations. So if you've ever fished your phone out like it was an urgent mission, only to find nothing, congratulations, you're biologically normal and also mildly broken. Number 14. The sleep start jerk. You're drifting off to sleep, finally relaxed, your body saying, ah yes, unconsciousness. And then suddenly, bam, your entire body flails like you've just fallen off a building. This, my friend, is the hypnic jerk, evolution's leftover prank from when we were tree-sleeping primates. The theory goes that your muscles relax so much, your brain misreads the signals as, oh, we're falling. Then it yanks your body into an emergency spasm to save you. Of course, you weren't falling. You were lying in bed, scrolling TikTok until your vision blurred. But try telling your 200,000-year-old nervous system that. It's basically your motor neurons saying, don't worry, I've got you, and then throwing you into a panic for no reason. Kind of like a friend who tries to help you cook by setting the oven to 500 degrees to make it faster. Is it dangerous? No. Is it annoying? Yes. Is it funny to watch someone else do it? Absolutely. Number 13. Brain freeze. Nothing screams highly evolved mammal like being taken down by a snow cone. You're just enjoying something cold, maybe too fast, when suddenly wham! It's like your frontal lobe got hit by a frozen baseball bat. Brain freeze, or sphenopalatine ganglioneuralgia, because science loves long words, happens when something icy chills the roof of your mouth. The blood vessels there overreact, first constricting to preserve heat, then rapidly expanding to bring warmth back. This sudden dilation sends a burst of pain signals through the trigeminal nerve straight to your brain. Why does your brain think this is a head injury? Because the trigeminal nerve is basically a messy wiring job. It handles face pain, mouth pain, and head pain in the same bundle. So when it gets confused, it just dumps the problem in your forehead. It's like calling tech support and getting transferred to accounting. Evolution didn't fix this because why would it? Our ancestors weren't chugging frozen frappuccinos. But now we live in a world where frozen coffee dessert is a thing, and our nervous system is still operating on berries and warm water. Progress. Number 12. The eye floaters show. You're minding your own business, maybe staring at the sky, and suddenly, whoosh, some weird little translucent squiggle drifts across your vision. You try to look at it, and it moves with your eyes. Congratulations, you've just tuned into the eye floaters show, brought to you by your very own biology. What you're seeing are tiny bits of collagen or other microscopic debris inside your eye's vitreous humor, the gel-like stuff that fills the space between your lens and retina. As light enters your eye, these bits cast shadows on your retina. Your brain, ever the drama queen, interprets them as mysterious ghost worms or space jellyfish. Why do they exist? Well, your vitreous humor changes with age, becoming more watery and clumpy. That means floaters are more common as you get older, but even young eyes aren't immune. The kicker is, evolution never thought this was worth fixing. As far as your survival is concerned, seeing a floating blob isn't exactly fatal. Unless, of course, you're a prehistoric human mistaking one for a snake and running into a tree. They're harmless unless you suddenly see lots of them at once, in which case your retina might be staging a protest and you should see a doctor. Otherwise, you're stuck with occasional random sky squiggles forever. Enjoy the free art show. Number 11. The sneeze sun trigger. Ever walk outside on a sunny day and instantly sneeze? No, you're not allergic to happiness. You might have the photic sneeze reflex, an unpatched evolutionary bug that affects about 1 in 4 people. Here's the bug report. When bright light suddenly hits your eyes, your optic nerve sends a flood of signals to your brain saying, "Whoa! Adjust the pupils. We're under attack." But the sneeze reflex also happens to live in a neighboring area of the brainstem, and your nervous system has sloppy wiring. The result? Some of those close the blinds messages accidentally spill over into fire the nasal cannons. It's harmless but incredibly weird. Imagine if turning on a light switch also flushed your toilet. It's that level of unnecessary crosstalk. Scientists still don't fully know why this exists, but they're leaning toward because evolution didn't bother cleaning up after itself. The reflex even has an official name, ACHOO syndrome. Yes, that's actually what it's called. Autosomal dominant compelling helio-ophthalmic outburst, which is basically science admitting, yeah, this is dumb, but it's real. Number 10. The Shiver Pee Combo. You finish peeing and suddenly shiver. A full body, involuntary shudder, as if your bladder just told a ghost story. This is called post-micturition convulsion syndrome, which sounds way more dramatic than pee shiver. The most popular theory is that it's a side effect of your autonomic nervous system shifting gears. Peeing involves parasympathetic control, the rest and digest mode, but as you finish, your body flips back into sympathetic mode, the fight or flight system. That rapid switch can cause your muscles to spasm briefly, creating that satisfying, weird shiver. And yes, some people get it almost every time while others rarely do. Evolution didn't care. Pee shivers aren't exactly life-threatening. If anything, they probably made cave people feel extra accomplished after marking their territory. So, next time it happens, don't question it. Just know your body is rebooting like a confused old laptop. Number 9. Your brain versus doorways. You walk into a room and, wait, what did you come here for again? This isn't just you being forgetful. It's the doorway effect. Your brain treats crossing a physical boundary, like a doorway, as a mental scene change, and decides to dump short-term memory to make space for whatever comes next. This quirk likely made sense when survival meant keeping track of what was in your current environment. If you walked from the forest into a cave, it was more important to remember big hungry bear than I was looking for berries. But in the modern world, it means you walk from your kitchen to your bedroom and suddenly forget the life or death task of grabbing your phone charger. Basically, your hippocampus, the memory processing center, hits a soft reset when you move between locations. The kicker is it happens instantly, so you can be mid-thought and poof, gone. Evolution never patched this because, well, there's no selective pressure for remembering why you came into the bathroom without staring blankly at the sink for 30 seconds. Number 8. The exploding head. No, your head isn't actually going to explode, unless you count the mental explosion of hearing a loud bang inside your own skull just as you're falling asleep. This is called exploding head syndrome, and it's exactly as dramatic as it sounds, minus the gore. It's a type of parasomnia, a weird thing your brain does during the transition into or out of sleep. The current theory is that your brainstem is supposed to gradually shut down sensory processing as you drift off. But sometimes the process glitches and fires off random bursts of activity in the auditory neurons, creating the sensation of a loud noise that never actually happened. Some people hear crashes, gunshots, or even door slams. And here's the worst part. It's completely harmless, which is both good news and wildly annoying, because your brain is essentially yelling asterisk, surprise, asterisk for no reason. From an evolutionary perspective, it's possible this is just harmless electrical static in the nervous system, like radio interference. Or maybe our ancestors occasionally needed a fake, wake up now, to survive predators. Either way, modern life has fewer predators and more confused midnight Google searches. Number 7. The itch that moves. You scratch an itch on your arm and suddenly, the itch is somewhere else. What is your skin playing tag with itself? This happens because itching is not about removing something from your skin. It's about your nervous system detecting potential irritants. Scratching actually stimulates low-level pain receptors, which temporarily override the itch signal. But in the process, your brain sometimes misinterprets where the itch is coming from. This is called sensory remapping, and it's your nervous system's version of poor GPS. It makes sense if you think about how the brain evolved. It's more important to overestimate the spread of a potential irritant than to ignore it. If something dangerous, like an insect, is crawling on you, your nervous system wants you to check multiple spots. Unfortunately, this means a mosquito bite can turn into a 5-minute scratch dance that covers your entire forearm. Evolution didn't fix this because it's not dangerous, just deeply, deeply unsatisfying. Number 6. The random twitch. You're sitting there, minding your own business when suddenly your eyelid or maybe your calf muscle decides to start twitching like it's trying to send Morse code. This delightful phenomenon is called a fasciculation, and no, it's usually not dangerous. It's just your motor neurons throwing a tiny tantrum. Muscle twitches often happen when your nerves get a little overstimulated, maybe from stress, fatigue, dehydration, or just too much caffeine. Sometimes they happen for no reason at all because your nervous system, like a toddler, occasionally just does things. From an evolutionary standpoint, these microspasms don't affect survival, so nature never felt the need to patch them out. In fact, in some situations they might have been a feature. An overactive nerve response could help keep muscles primed and ready for action. Today, it just means your eyelid pulses annoyingly during a meeting, and people think you're winking at them. It's harmless unless you start Googling it at 3 a.m., at which point you'll convince yourself you have every rare nerve disorder known to man. Pro tip, you don't. You just need some sleep and maybe a banana. Number 5. Goosebumps 2.0. You get cold, scared, or hear a particularly epic piece of music, and suddenly your skin sprouts tiny bumps, like your hair follicles are trying to escape. This is called piloerection, and it's a leftover reflex from our fur-covered ancestors. When animals get cold, the tiny muscles at the base of their hair follicles contract, fluffing up their fur to trap more heat. When they're scared, the same thing happens to make them look bigger and more threatening. In humans, well, we have about as much usable body hair as a peeled kiwi, so now it's just a visual reminder that your body still thinks you might be a raccoon. Fun fact, goosebumps triggered by emotions, like music chills, are your nervous system's fight or flight response misfiring. Your brain perceives a surge of emotional intensity as a potential threat, so it readies your body for absolutely nothing. Evolution never removed this because it's harmless and doesn't cost much energy. Plus, maybe there was some benefit to our hair standing on end when watching firelight dances 100,000 years ago. Now, it's just our skin's way of live-tweeting our feelings. Number 4. The laughter snort. You're laughing so hard that suddenly, snort. It's funny when it happens to someone else, but mildly humiliating when it's you. The laughter snort happens because the muscles controlling your soft palate, the bit that separates your nose and mouth, can't always keep up with the chaotic airflow of intense laughter. Air escapes the wrong way and voila, you just became a human kazoo. From a survival perspective, laughter isn't about comedy. It's a social bonding tool. But intense laughter can trigger almost every major breathing muscle in your body. Your diaphragm convulses, your lungs push air out at high speed, and your brain basically says, "We're not prioritizing nasal closure right now." The result is that charming snort. Is it dangerous? Nope. Is it a social risk? Absolutely, if you're drinking milk at the time. Evolution left it alone because, frankly, anything that made prehistoric humans laugh together probably improved group survival, even if it made them sound like wheezing pigs. Number 3. The sudden word blackout. You're mid-conversation making a perfectly good point and then, gone. The word you were about to say just slips away, leaving you flailing for, the thing. This is the tip-of-the-tongue phenomenon, a memory glitch that turns your brain into a lousy search engine. Here's what's going on. When you recall a word, your brain doesn't just pull it from one spot like a book from a shelf. It pieces it together from a network of sounds, meanings, and associations. Sometimes you activate part of that network, like the meaning of the word, but not the exact sound pattern. So you know what you want to say, but can't spit it out. Evolution never fixed this because perfect word recall wasn't essential for survival. In prehistoric times, if you forgot the exact name for a plant, you could just point and grunt. Today, forgetting thermometer in the middle of a heated argument about the weather just makes you look like you skipped breakfast. And the cruel part? Hours later, when you're shampooing your hair or lying in bed, your brain finally delivers the word like it's been on vacation the whole time. Thanks, brain. Real helpful. Number 2. The weird taste in your mouth when you're scared. Ever notice how fear can make your mouth taste metallic? This happens because adrenaline, your trusty fight or flight hormone, changes your saliva composition. Stress triggers blood vessel constriction and can even cause tiny amounts of iron-rich blood from your gums to mix into your spit. The result? The charming sensation of sucking on a penny. From an evolutionary perspective, this is just collateral damage from a body-wide alert system. Your nervous system floods your body with stress chemicals to prepare you for action, dilating pupils, boosting heart rate, shunting blood to muscles, and apparently also giving your tongue a weird souvenir. Did evolution care about this odd taste? Not a bit. If you were running from a saber-toothed cat, you weren't exactly stopping to think, notes of copper and regret. Now, in modern life, it just means public speaking comes with a free, unpleasant flavor profile. Number 1. Crying when you're mad. You're in an argument, absolutely fuming, and suddenly tears, not sad tears, angry tears, the ultimate emotional betrayal. This is the product of an ancient stress response overlap between anger and sadness, both of which activate your parasympathetic nervous system and tear glands. Basically, your brain sees intense emotion, floods your system with stress hormones, and triggers tear production as part of the overall overload relief package. It's the same release valve process that works for sadness. But now you're trying to yell, and your eyes are streaming like a sad cartoon puppy. Evolution didn't fix this because crying probably helped de-escalate dangerous conflicts in our social groups. Tears signal vulnerability, which might have prevented a fight from escalating to actual violence. In the modern world, though, it mostly just ruins your "I'm totally in control" vibe during arguments. So yes, your own biology is sabotaging you for the sake of ancient social harmony. Thanks, ancestors. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.